All right, we are going live on the 23rd of May here in America. Um, no, the 24th. Why did I say the 23rd? The 24th here in America, which is the 25th in Korea. So today, technically, is SHINee's 10th anniversary. And I'm so proud of them. Like, I'm just so proud of them for making it this far. I felt like they could do it. I expect SHINee to make 20, honestly, but this is a bittersweet anniversary, of course. There's someone who's missing, and we wish he was here. But SHINee is 5 individuals. It is Key, it is Taemin, it is Onu, it is Jonghyun, it is Minho. And these 5 individuals have been a light in my life for a long time now. They've brought me through a lot of situations that I felt hopeless and helpless, and they've given me laughter, they've given me something to dance to, they've given me encouragement, they've helped me format goals. There's just so much I've gained from them, and so I'm sharing with you my most prized SHINee possessions. And some of my most prized SHINee possessions are big things, and some of them are little things, but all of them here represent something very special for me, either because of how I got them or what I experienced with them. And so that is the reason why I'm doing this live. Hey, Jazzy. So I had a kind of a breakdown this morning, and that is the reason why we're coming back with the joy, the celebration, the laughter, the love. So let's start with something very special. And it is this and this, my K-pop socks. So if you follow my channel for a minute, you know that every Christmas I do a Secret Santa exchange with friends. And my friends have always been super generous to me. They've given me many, many things. And this is one of my most favorite things that I've ever been given. They're Minho K-pop socks. And it's something that every time I'd go to a K-pop shop, I would always see them, I would want to buy them, but I have legit horse feet. I have huge feet. For a woman, I wear a size 11 US, so these don't fit me. These are like child socks, but I love looking at them because they're adorable. I love the fact that my friends came up with gifts for me that were so different and off the wall and kind of bizarre. And more importantly, it just reminds me that I have friends. And that's one of the things that I credit SHINee with, and I credit this YouTube channel with. If it wasn't for the fact that I opened myself up to expressing my fandom in this way and inviting people to be fans with me, I wouldn't have gained the relationships I have. And I value those relationships more than any material possession I have. And so I'm extremely grateful to have these items. And even though they're just a couple of pairs of socks, they are some of my most prized possessions. Another example of something given to me during Secret Santa just this last year. This was given to me by Emily. This is the SHINee Dream Girl face mask. And this is something I would have never thought to give myself. Like, it's just, I would never have considered it. But again, friends. So I'm very, very grateful for it. Hey, girl. So yeah, official too. Ooh. So that's something that came from a friend. And I hate if I got this wrong, but I believe I got this right. This came from a friend as well. This is the same Floral Musk Minho edition from their endorsement with the same. And I love this. I've never opened it. I don't ever use it. Hey, Essence. But I love having it because it's a part of my Minho shrine. So it is a very definite favorite of mine. Thank you, Jazzy. I knew it was a gift from you. I didn't want to mess up and say for the wrong person, but I knew it was a gift from you. But I've never used it. It's still completely full. But it doesn't matter because I don't have it for those purposes. I have it for the face, definitely. But treasured possession, treasured possession. Okay, so while we're talking about oddball things to collect for SHINee, I want to show you guys probably the most weird thing I've ever collected for SHINee. And it is this little box right here. So I don't know if you can see, but it's Voyage d'Hermès. I'm sure I'm butchering that French, but this is Jonghyun's favorite cologne. Why do I know this? Because when Jonghyun did his first solo album for bass, he did a series of shows kind of behind the scenes where they talked to him about his artistic process, about his friends, his collaborations. One of the things that he liked to talk about a lot was the fact that he was very sensitive to smell, and that it was very important to him to be able to be surrounded by pleasing scents, and that his perfume and cologne collection was very important to him. And this was his favorite cologne at the time. So one day I was walking in the mall and there was a perfume shop and they had all these little miniatures, and this was one of the miniatures that they had for him. Well, not for him, but for sale. And I bought it so I would know what Jonghyun smells like. And just in case you're wondering, he smells like a beautiful forest. But yeah, this is the most unique thing I own, probably because it's just so outside of the merchandised branded stuff that I own. But at the same time, it's a unique memory from the time that I got it, for what it symbolized. And I don't know, just hindsight being 2020, I've had this now for a long time. Just having a little piece of him, a little unique piece of him, is very important to me. So this is one of the favorite pieces of my SHINee collection. Now let's talk about a piece of my SHINee collection that holds one of my most vivid memories when it comes to being the channel Shaw 360. And it is Odd. This album, both copies. Odd was my most given away album. Somebody found a link on Amazon to buy a bunch of these for like $5 a piece. So I gave away several copies of Odd, the clown version. And it was the first SHINee album that I was ever a fan of SHINee during the promotion. So I was a fan of SHINee, I would say starting in 2012. They took a while to do a comeback, and when they finally did do the comeback, which was the Misconception series and the Everybody series, I was a fan then. But I guess I misphrased it. This was my first comeback with SHINee as a fan on YouTube. That's what I really need to say. So the Misconception series, Everybody, which stands as their best mini album, Fight Me If You Wanna. Then there was a pretty lengthy break. And it made sense because they did 3 releases in 1 year. Hey, that's a lot. 3 releases in 1 year is a lot for any group. And on top of that, they were still doing Japanese promotions. So SHINee took a break. And I didn't have a chance to do reviews of Everybody or Misconceptions on my channel, even though my first SHINee unboxing on this channel is the Misconceptions of Us box set. But yeah, I didn't have a chance to do a current release with SHINee on my channel until the Odd series. And hey Alex, when I finally had a chance to do it, it wasn't my most well received video because I'll be honest, I had criticisms for Odd. And it's really funny now that I think about it. I had criticisms for Odd, but Married to the Music, the repackage, is now my favorite SHINee album. But it was really cool to be able to like fan about the comeback, talk to so many people about the anticipation for the release, talk to people about the teasers, and do it all in real time, because I had never had that opportunity before because I was a late addition to YouTube. So actually having a comeback where I had made all these friends, had all these connections, was surrounded by so many Shawals, and I finally had a community to rest in where I could express my admiration for what they do and be very honest about it and be able to give away this album to so many people. It's something that I appreciate a lot, and I don't think that it can be overstated, the importance of having a fan community. I talked about it briefly with just the friendships I've made, but even outside of friendships I made, just people I've gotten to know channels I started to follow during that time period, people I started to follow on social media. A lot of different things happened for me because of this particular album. And so I'm really, really glad I had a chance to be active during this comeback. And I don't know, it's very special to me. As creepy as it is very, very special to me. And so I always look at this with fondness. And also, I now have a signed edition of the Married to the Music album. So yeah, ultimate favorite comeback era for me ever. All right, now I'm going to show you something that is a memento from one of the best nights of my life. It's this light stick right here from the 2016 SHINee fan meet in Dallas, Texas. The 2016 Dallas fan meet. I have a whole video about my experience on the channel, a vlog. But I went to that fan meet with my daughter. She's in the video as well. And it was like an impossibility that I was ever going to see SHINee. Like, I just felt like SM wasn't bringing SHINee to the United States anytime soon because there were no SM towns being announced. And it seemed like the only act that was allowed to come to the States was FX going to South by Southwest and EXO getting to do the Xolution tours. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry. But yeah, the idea that SHINee would come to the States by themselves to do anything, it just didn't seem real. It didn't seem like it was going to happen. I didn't anticipate it. I, in fact, was even considering starting a savings fund so I could go to Korea to see them because I felt like that was the only way it was ever going to happen. So when the fan meet was announced, I was overcome. Like, I could not believe that the opportunity to see them was happening. But then when they announced Dallas, it was just like a double what? Because at the time I was living in East Texas, literally just a couple hours drive away from the venue that they were performing in, and they literally were coming to see me like just a few weeks before my birthday. It felt like a birthday present. And so one of the greatest nights of my life. It was the first time I'd ever been in a physical congregation of Shawwal, so that was very special for me. Also, it was so different than my second experience. Hey! It was so different from my second experience seeing SHINee because this time when I saw them in the fan meet, it wasn't just about performing. It was also about answering questions and talking and playing games and watching the way that SHINee interacts with their fans. If I wasn't in love before the evening started, I was madly in love after the evening concluded. They were so charming and so much fun. Jonghyun was so adorable. Boundless energy, always being very cute, and not cute like on purpose, but just like he just naturally had a cuteness about him. Maybe it's because he's little. Maybe it's because of his big eyes. I don't know what it was, but he was so cute. Onu, just a natural clown. So good at playing charades. Lots and lots of fun. Minho was very tired that night. Like, his energy was kind of low, but he still gave it his best shot. He tried his hardest with the English, and at the end of the day, you know, you could tell that even though he was tired, he was very glad to be there. Key, of course, was Key. I don't even know what else to say. He was just Key, and he was giving you all of his energy, all of his attitude. He was not there to play games, but he still played the game. And then finally Taemin, who, I have to be honest, a lot of years in my fandom, I spent, I don't want to say ignoring Taemin, but just not really connecting with him. And that night changed everything for me. Like, it really made me see Taemin for who he's grown up to be, but it also made me acknowledge kind of how far he's come and how much he genuinely gives to the team. And I now speak more about Taemin. I now am more excited for his solos. Like, everything when it comes to me and Taemin changed after that night. And so it was one of the 2 times I got to see SHINee, and it was amazing. And this is the only piece of merchandise I believe I bought that night, but it was the most special, and I'm so glad to have it. And so yeah, I love this. I love this. This is everything. Okay, so next I'm going to show you merchandise. I know I have all this stuff just piled here. I'm sorry. I don't mean to have it piled so messily, but I was just like yanking stuff off of my shelves to try to show to you guys. And when I finally set it all down, I'm like, you know what? Never mind. We'll just tackle it as we see it. So next is this. It's the SHINee Surprise Vacation stuff. So it's the DVD set and it is the travel note book. SHINee Surprise Vacation. Okay, so part of what was a big piece of me falling for SHINee was watching Hello Baby. There's a lot of groups that sing a lot of songs, and I like them a lot, but it takes a little bit more than some song singing for me to really consider myself a stan. And when I watched Hello Baby, I felt like SHINee were my friends. I felt like we had known each other for a long time. I felt like I could kind of predict their personalities. Everything about that show created this bond, and everything in the years since have been building on that bond. And so when SHINee did Surprise Vacation, it was like going through Hello Baby all over again, but in real time, because I watched Hello Baby well after it first aired. Because my first comeback with SHINee of knowing who they were was with Sherlock, and Hello Baby came out during the Ring Ding Dong period. So yeah, years after the fact. But SHINee Surprise Vacation was such an important thing for me because it was a variety show based just on the group. It had all this merchandise, beautiful, beautiful merchandise. It had so many gift sets that came from this series. But more importantly, it was like an update for me in terms of the personalities of the members of SHINee, because you have to remember that during Hello Baby, they were still extremely young. Like Taemin was still underage. He was a kid during Hello Baby. And this was kind of the first adult Taemin I had a chance to process. And it was interesting to see like how their personalities had matured, how much they were still the same, kind of seeing what each individual member considered to be important to them, and you know how they function away from the team, because a lot of Hello Baby was about the interactions of the members of SHINee together, but the interactions in Surprise Vacation, outside of the Minky interactions, it was about them as individuals. And so it was a nice update to that kind of getting to know you process. And yeah, I have a lot of really good memories of this. Onu in his pineapple bag, Taemin, hot chocolate please. Jonghyun and his just like childlike wonder at all of the fun treats of Japan. It was like the Gundam doll and the sauna and all the food, tons and tons of food, more food than that little baby could ever eat. Minho and his soccer obsession, Key and his just like, it's not a memory if I'm not in the picture. Like, there's just so many awesome things about this series, and I'm so glad I have both the book and the DVD. Now, the book was extremely hard to get. The book sold out almost immediately after release, and it was one of the first purchases that I made from Japan. I actually started buying, and that's the reason why I brought this out. I actually started buying things on From Japan and using proxy sites because I wanted to complete my SHINee in Wonderland collection. And so SHINee Wonderland, those cards, they're all out of print. In order to get them, you kind of have to get them either secondhand or somebody who's been holding on to a set. I think I bought 2, possibly 3 boxes. No, I bought 2 of these boxes, trying to collect all the cards, and I finally got them all. I did a lot of trading to get the cards too, but I actually have a complete SHINee star card collection if anybody's interested in seeing that. But it was using From Japan that I actually started collecting these, and that led me to buying a lot of the things that I now have that are some of the most important things that I have. And this was one of my prized wins on From Japan, this right here. This I actually got on K-Town for You. I know, right? Who'd have thunk it? I bought this from K-Town for You for super duper cheap. I think this might have been 20 bucks when I bought it. It's out of stock now, of course, like most things when it comes to SHINee, but this was something that like people weren't trying to buy. and I don't know why, because it's lovely. I mean, it comes with, I believe, 6 DVDs, because it comes with like each individual member plus like a commentary DVD. It comes with a pencil pouch. It's just really, really nice. So yeah, I'm glad I got these when I did, because I actually haven't seen a listing for this in a while. It's been a while since I've seen a listing for this. So I'm glad I got it now, because I'm not exactly sure if I could afford to buy it here at this period in time. I lucked out both times I got this. In case you guys haven't ever seen this before, it's super nice. Like, if you have the opportunity to get it, it's definitely worth it. Like, I can't read a lick of it because it's all in Korean, but the pictures and the little diagrams, they're so gorgeous. This was such a great era for Jonghyun, because he wore those big, stupid glasses, and it made his little nose look like a button. He was so adorable there. Oh, and then let's see if we can find the bias ruiner pictures in here, because there are a couple. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, those were the ones. Those are the ones. The bias ruiner pictures. That man was gorgeous. Woo-wee. But yeah, this is definitely a great buy if you're thinking about buying any of the merchandise from this. I recommend the DVDs if you'd like to watch them, because they do have English subs. However, this, if you just want something to flip through on occasion, this is also extremely nice. Alright, so this is a bias item. This is Beautiful Day's first photo book by SHINee-minho.com. I do not know if this fan site is still active, because I don't really keep up with fan sites that way. However, this was one of my From Japan purchases. This photo book was like maybe $15. It was not expensive. Part of it is because it didn't come with like all the extras and stuff. It just came with the photo book itself, and the photo book was a little bit damaged. However, I got it because, if you don't know, Minho is my bias, and this was a photo book full of pictures of my favorite rendition of Minho, long-haired Minho. There's just something about a Minho with long hair that gets me every time, and of course I would open up to a picture of him with short hair, but that's just part of it. Most of this photo book is Minho while he was growing his hair out and while his hair was still long. I just really love that look. I know that he'll never wear it again, because long hair on men is just not really as popular as it used to be. Like, there was a time when that kind of flower boy look, with like the Boys Before Flower look, was definitely in style, and people were perming their hair, and that kind of long swept over bang, that was the look, and it matched him perfectly. But it's just not in style anymore, so we'll probably never see this era again. But come on, look at his little manny tail. It's so cute. It's so cute. So yeah, I like this just because it's got pictures of one of my favorite eras, of one of my favorite people. But then it's kind of weird too, because look at how fresh he looks. Like, oh my gosh, that is a baby. That is a literal baby. So yeah, I just love the memory of this. This is such a nice time for me. But he was like an absolute child. This was an infant. So one of my favorite things to have. I love it very much. It's got some of my favorite photographs, because it's got like a lot of photographs that I've seen over the years, and I'm like, where'd that come from? And they're all in here for long-haired Minho, so I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is my Shiny Rolled 4 CD. The Shiny Rolled in Soul 4 CD. I'm not a big collector of live albums for most people. Probably the only 2 live albums I can say that I've loved in my life outside of Shiny are the Erykah Badu live and the Maxwell Unplugged. Those are lives that if you like R&B, you should check them out. They're classics. But this right here, I bought it for a very specific reason. Number one, because the fan meet I had went to, this was around the same time of release, because even though it's the 2015, it came out in 2016. Also, this photo book is legend, and I want to say this also has the Korean version of Picasso, which is one of my favorite Japanese songs from Shiny. But yeah, if you've never seen this particular photo book, this is the interior of this box. Here's the slipcover. Inside, There are several unboxings of this, so I'm not going to do a full unboxing. Inside you have both of the CDs here with the track list on them. You have a poster, which I've only ever taken out once to show people, and I put it away immediately. And then you have this, which is the concert booklet. Not the one that they gave at the concert, but basically it's got scenes from the concert. And it is phenomenal. It is absolutely 100% probably one of the nicest things I'll ever have for SHINee. Like, just quality wise, stunning. That was a nipple. Stunning. The picture quality is wonderful. The paper is nice. There's all of these beautiful English sections in it, even though the majority of the text is in Korean, but there's still some really wonderful English text in here. The pictures are making everyone look good. No one looks bad in this photo book. It is so strong in the memories, so strong in the feels, and again, during one of my favorite eras for SHINee, because this was the odd era. So yeah, I have no negative feelings about this at all. There's not a single flaw as far as I'm concerned. And it's one that I don't get out very often, just because replacement wise, it would be very difficult for me to buy this again. This was not cheap when it was brand new, and it is not cheap now. In fact, I would be tempted to say, out of everything that I own for SHINee, this is the item with the highest resale value. Right now, in order to get one of these, you're probably paying easily 4 times face value. 4 times face value. Because I think I paid close to $60 for this. I think you probably would pay 4 times that now to get it again. Because it's not on the market like that. And it's for a reason. People don't sell it because it is that nice. It is that precious. So yeah. It is wonderful. If you can get your hands on it, if you've got that kind of extra income, please do. If you don't, you know, I don't blame you for trying. I lucked out in the fact that I got it. I think I got this ordered maybe a week before it sold out. So timing is everything when it comes to stuff like this. All right. Ooh. Sorry, I was having technical difficulties here. Next, we have one of my recent most prized possessions. It is this. It is the day book from SHINee, the first photo book. This was part of a photo book set of both day and night. The day photo book came with photo cards. The night photo book came with a DVD. This is precious to me, not just because of Fetus SHINee that's contained in here, which I think I've done a flip through of this before, but just to remind you guys, here we go. But it's not just precious because of Fetus SHINee. It's also precious because I got to meet Mason, and I bought this during our time together in LA. So again, a friendship memory with this, as well as it having these gorgeous, sumptuous pictures that are huge, like huge, they're huge. But also just, you know, memories of a sweeter, more innocent SHINee. You know, these were kids who were new to the industry, were just making their name, who had their entire futures in front of them, and to see how they've grown, to see how they've earned their place with the community, with their audience, with other artists, it's inspiring, honestly. Because you can tell from a lot of the awkward poses and everything else that, you know, these weren't guys who were necessarily comfortable with everything at the time. Like, they were just trying to kind of figure out, okay, so is this the look I want to have? Is this how I want to pose? But there's still something in their faces. Even though you could tell there's a little awkwardness there, there's a determination. There's this belief in themselves, and the belief that, you know, we're reaching and aiming for bigger and better and higher, and we're going to continue to improve. All we need is time. And you know, they're sweethearts. They're sweethearts, and this was a sweet period in time, and I'm so glad I have this, because it's a time that will never be again. So yeah, good memories with this. Then I have this, which is my SHINee photo card book. I'm not going to show this in its entirety because that would make for a really long time, but I wanted to show kind of the things I have, because the things in here, I would say almost a third of them came as gifts from other people. So yeah, great memories here. Oh yeah, this is the free fan they gave me when I went to Shiny World 5 in Dallas. Good times. But yeah, most of the cards I have here, I either traded or they were gifts. This card right here, probably the most expensive photo card I have for Shiny. It is the Misconceptions of Me card. This was a limited run press, so I think like the first press of Misconceptions of Me had these cards, and then all subsequent presses had this card. And so this card right here, it's very difficult to find, and when you do find it, I think it's in the range of about $70 to $80. I didn't pay a penny for it. It was given to me as a gift from Ads Power. And friendship. Like literally just, I said, hey, I saw you got this card. How much do you want for it? He's like, hey, just trade me one of your cards. It'll be fine. And every time I look at this card, it just reinforces when you surround yourself with good people and you treat people well, it's always going to be returned to you. And that's selfish. I understand. But it just goes to show it doesn't hurt to be kind. It doesn't hurt to communicate with people. It doesn't hurt to make friends. Because sometimes, you know, they'll do something for you that you can't believe that they're willing to do. And he shipped it to me all the way from the UK. So it wasn't like he was just, you know, a couple of states away or something. Like, he really put in the effort. I think the shipping alone for this card was close to $15 to $20 just to make sure it was well secured when it arrived to me. So yeah, you know, right away, as soon as I open this binder, I'm confronted with all the kindnesses that people have done for me over the years. Let's just keep going. Another thing that I love about flipping through this binder is I love thinking about all the different eras. I believe that Mason gave me either this card or this card. I'm not sure which one, but Mason gave me one of these cards. I think I traded for this card. This came in my Shiny World 4. These Japanese cards, I know I traded for several of these because I was not lucky enough to get them in all of my Japanese albums, because most of my Japanese albums were used. One thing I've always loved about Japanese cards is that the Japanese cards always reflect the album art, which is not always the case with the Korean cards. Usually the Korean cards are always selfies. So that's one of the things I really like about the Japanese cards. I remember this era being when me and Miranda first started becoming good friends, because we were trading a lot of these cards amongst each other. So that's a really special memory. These cards right here, these same cards, I remember all of my friends kind of trading back and forth. I think I bought maybe 2 sets of these, and I would give them to certain people, and I'd be like, okay, well, I have 2 Minhos, and I need the 3rd Minho for your... Oh gosh, I don't know what happened, but for some reason it cut me off. I'm sorry about that, guys. You know it's not a party if I don't get interrupted on the live stream. Okay. Oh my gosh, so this is more of Jazzy taking care of me. So many of these stickers, especially these Married to the Music stickers, got them from Shawwall 5 because she loves me and I love her. So, best friends forever. I believe the same with the Tell Me What to Do stickers. I think those came from her as well. Don't quote me, because she gives me everything. Like, I swear half of the shiny stuff that I've been gifted I got from Shawwall 5. Like, she's just extremely generous. And then she wonders why I send her stuff, because she sends me so much stuff. So it's just like this vicious circle that we keep on repeating, but not so vicious, actually a very friendly circle. And then there's calendar cards here. Love calendar cards. Calendar cards. I don't have this year's calendar cards in here because they were punch outs and I wasn't going to punch them out, so that's why the calendar cards from 2018 are not in here. The Shiny Wonderland sticker. Oh my gosh, these came in different books. The Shiny in Barcelona book. I'm trying to see. Oh my gosh, my favorite stuff that people gave me. Let me flip over to it. So I have someone who I had a chance to communicate with who is currently in Japan. Her name is Pam In. She's a big VIP, Big Bang VIP, and she made personalized postcards and photo cards for me one Christmas. One of my favorite memories ever. So she made this postcard and this postcard for me. Personalized. I will never forget that. I remember showing everybody when I got it and just bragging about who else gets customized photo cards. No one but me. But yeah, she designed these especially for me, and I love looking at this binder because I always remember that these are in here and they're so awesome. She also made the photo cards, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one, I believe. She made those photo cards for me. That's so amazing. She's so cool. These were postcards that came in albums. These were more like freebie postcards and trade gifts from people that I can't even recall everywhere they came from, but they're all very special. These are more freebies that people traded with me that I thought were beautiful, and I didn't want to get rid of them, so I put them in my binder. And then stickers. Stickers from trades. Stickers that people sent in letters that they mailed to me. SHINee in Dallas stickers. Just memories. Memories on top of memories on top of memories on top of memories. And then finally, the thing I can't really show you the interior of, just because there's like actual names and addresses in this thing. This right here. This is my correspondence binder. In this, I keep every single letter from every single person that ever sent me a gift related to K-pop, whoever sent me a Christmas card, a letter, anything at all. I keep them all here. And like I said, there's addresses in here, so I can't really open this up to show you. However, I'm going to pull out a couple of drawings that people sent me. So let me get those out for you. While we're at it, talk amongst yourselves. There's a drawing that someone sent me. Let's see. I have another drawing, so keep on being embarrassed. I'm going to show it all. I have no shame because I didn't draw it. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this. Ah, this is the first drawing anybody made for me. Oh, and this is the super artistic one. Oh my gosh. I almost forgot I had this. But yeah, I am like an elephant. I never forget. I save it all, every single bit of it. And this is it right here. These are just a few of the things I've received. Jazzy's always drawing stuff for me, so like I get a ton of stuff from her that I save. But these things, I mean, you can't pay for them. And they represent years of correspondence. Gosh, me and Jazzy have been writing each other since 2014, 2013, I cannot recall. But it's been years. It's been years, and I save every bit of it. I never get rid of anything. And I think that's one of the things that is why this 10-year anniversary means so much to me. And in case y'all are wondering, my coffee table is not normally a picture of SHINee. This was like the last thing I wanted to show you guys. This is a framed poster from the last time I saw SHINee World 5, when they came to Dallas. They were selling this poster at the merchandise table. I hadn't pre-ordered any items from Subculture because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get tickets to see SHINee. So when I got to the merchandise table, they had plain white t-shirts and they had this poster and a Minho fan. And I bought this poster, and I had a rough time about a year ago, maybe longer. I had a rough time, and this poster sat rolled up in the trunk of my car for months. And I almost forgot I had it. And then I moved. And when I moved, I finally had a chance to unpack all of the things that I had been saving for so long. And I unrolled this. And it reminded me of the night spent with Tarian. It was the day I met Tarian. Well, no, I had already met Tarian, I believe. No, wrong. That was the day I met Tarian. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yes. So SHINee World 5 was the day I met Tarian. I literally have a timestamp on our friendship now. The day I met Tarian, and after the concert, we spent an hour or two in IHOP talking about how much we loved SHINee, how much we loved K-pop, how much we loved their performance, how much we loved our friends, how much we looked forward to a future with them, how we felt like every year we'll get together and we'll go see SHINee in concert. And years. It's been years. Not since this happened, of course. It's been actually just a little over a year, but it's been years of building connections with people and years of meeting each other in the comments section and referencing each other in videos and sending each other letters and posting about what our favorite songs are from different comebacks and what a funny moment that was on a show and how we're so excited about the new teasers and everything else that comes with being friends under this umbrella. And that's because at the end of the day, the music that SHINee had to share with us was that strong. It was a sound that transcended language and understanding. I didn't have to know the lyrics to understand Symptoms. I didn't have to know the lyrics to fall in love with Sherlock. I didn't have to know the lyrics to understand that Replay was a classic. It was something that I just managed to absorb because there's a kernel of universal beauty that resides in everything that SHINee does, everything they've ever done. And I've been blessed to meet people over the last several years who understood the beauty of these same 5 individuals. And I'm sorry that I've got Key and Taemin cut off. That's totally an accident. It just happens to be that the framing here wasn't wide enough. But I just can't thank SHINee enough for what they've done for me and what they've done for us and the years that they've given us. We've gone through a lot being fans of SHINee, obviously, not counting just in the last several months, but you know, I remember last year wondering what was going to happen to SHINee because of the ONU scandal. I remember, you know, wanting to figure out if SHINee was ever going to do another mini album again, because the last mini album we had from SHINee was Everybody, and SHINee makes some of the best mini albums ever. But wondering if they were going to become that once a year group, and being so thankful that they still had the following they had in Japan, because otherwise I felt like we weren't getting enough content for them. I recall the solos, and you know, I'm gonna be completely honest and frank with you. I remember when Taemin's solo was announced. This was before I got a chance to see Taemin in person, I believe. I was pissed. I was so angry because I felt like if anyone in SHINee was going to have a solo, it was supposed to be Jonghyun. Like, it was just absolutely, that was what it was supposed to be. And for it to be Taemin didn't make any sense to me because Jonghyun is the main vocal, and so why wouldn't he give the main vocal the solo? Now, hindsight being 2020, I realized that that was merely a symptom of me not really understanding Taemin, because I've been grown all of SHINee's life, it seems. And so Taemin is very young, and growing up in the spotlight, he was very quiet where others were more, maybe more boisterous. And I didn't understand him. I didn't understand him, and I didn't understand why he would be the solo. Now I get it. And now I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of the reverence that other artists have for him during the Move promotions, when so many people were talking about how Taemin is their favorite dancer. He's so inspiring, and watching the younger performers coming up after him and seeing how he's become a mentor to them, how he's become that role model. Like, I get it now. I get it now. And living through that change of heart, it's an experience that I cherish because it was a life lesson for me. It really was. As old as I was, it was a life lesson for me. And the life lesson was, you have to give people a chance. You have to not operate on assumptions or initial prejudice, but you really do have to give people a chance to show their worth. It also brings home the point that age is just a number, and it has nothing to do with the maturity of somebody's talent or the maturity of somebody's intellect or their ability to be great. You don't have to wait for people to get older to prove that they have legendary material inside of them. And so, I mean, in addition to musical gifts I've been given by SHINee, I've been given life lessons. Absolutely. I've been taught a lot about how to look at human beings. When I think of Onu, I've learned a lot about leadership from Onu. I've learned about what it takes to be a leader, and that doesn't necessarily mean being in the front. Yes, lead is in the word leader, but it's, for him, more of a direction. I think in a lot of ways he could have asked for a different future. He could have said, you know, I'm not comfortable with the whole idol thing, because Onu's always been very careful about not wanting to expose his body too much. He doesn't do a lot of very scandalous dancing. He doesn't even seem that comfortable when it comes to the dancing, to be honest with you. But part of being their leader was he held a lot of himself back in order to be able to allow other individuals to shine. And he made sure he fills in gaps where he's needed, of course. And, you know, in no way am I diminishing his vocal role, because Onu is one of the best vocalists in K-pop. But he understood that in order to lead, I couldn't make this about me. It had to be about the team. And he's always made it about the team. And he's the one that gets picked on. And he's the one that's considered the goofball and everything else. But he lets that happen because he knows that that's the outlet that the rest of the team needs. They need somebody that they can kind of take it all out on, in a playful way, of course, but that he'll be there for them when they need him to pull them together. And he's shown that and proven that time and time again. Minho, my lovely, beautiful Minho, the man who constantly gets seen as nothing more than a pretty face, when in fact he's got something that every good team needs to have, and it's somebody who knows their role and somebody who understands that in order for the team to work, you have to constantly emphasize the fact that we are in fact a team. And every time you see Minho, every time you hear from him, no matter what the circumstance, it's always with the mind of, this is the team, we're all on the same team, we all support the team, nothing's more important than the team. To the point that he's laughed off the accusations that he can't sing and he can't rap and he can't dance and all he is a pretty boy. There's so many unique, special things about him. First of all, he is brilliant, like super duper smart. He's super duper athletic. He's actually a way better dancer than people give him credit for. He's actually got a fairly decent voice, and he has probably the second most songwriting credits of anybody else in SHINee. But he pushes all that aside because for him, it's not about individual achievement. It is about the team, much like Onu. And I love him for it because it takes a lot of inner strength not to need to have that external validation. So I love him for that. Key. Key is the member that I think the public least understands, because they have this assumption that Key is this over the top, ultra dramatic, very flamboyant figure. But behind a lot of that is a very sensitive soul, is somebody who is so in touch with who he is as a person and is so willing to be vulnerable for the public that a lot of us don't take it for what it is. It's not the fact that he's being dramatic, it's the fact that he quit caring about the role that society wanted him to play, and he's decided, if I'm going to give you me, I'm going to give you the most authentic version of myself. I'm not going to play a character. I'm going to be exactly what I am. Whatever I'm feeling in the instant, that's what I'm going to express. However I need to express myself, that's how it's going to be. I'm unafraid to take chances. I'm unafraid to show you who I am and how I am. And if I've got to live this life, I'm going to live it on my terms. And there's a lot to be respected about that particular mindset. Yeah, Key's not the greatest singer in the world, but he doesn't presume himself to be. Key pretty much considers himself good at everything. And if he's not the best, he didn't say he was the best. He said, I'm good at everything. And he's good at singing. And he's good at cooking. And he's good at acting. And he's good at being fashionable. But he's also good at being a friend. He's also good at being a counselor. He's also good at listening. He's also great at communicating. And he's good about being honest. Next to Jonghyun, Key is probably the member that we kind of know the most about his struggles. You know, he's let us know he's had issues with cutting before. He's let us know that he's had self-esteem issues before. He's let us know that he's been hurting and that it's tiring and that sometimes it's a grind that he has to put up with because it's a part of his job. But at the same time, when life is good as an idol, he's not afraid to tell you guys and show you guys what the good life looks like for him. He gives you the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And it's very rare that you see somebody who's lived in the public eye in the way he has that's willing to expose that much of their genuine heart to you. And for that, he's somebody to be admired, and he's somebody that radiates. And if you ever get the chance to see him live, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then finally, Jonghyun. There's so much that I want to say to him that I'll never get to say because he can't hear it. But if there is a place for his soul to rest, where he has a chance to feel this world and what's going on here, I hope he understands that the gifts he gave us are gifts that are worth more than anything we could ever buy. There's no way to perfectly understand another individual because we can't live their lives. We can't know their every sensation, their every thought, their every desire, their every pain. But what Jonghyun did in his life was he tried to understand, and he tried as hard as he could to not add on to the things in the world that weigh us down. In his life, he tried to be understanding. He tried to emit joy. He tried to learn. He tried to embrace every beautiful aspect of what it meant to be a human being. And he tried to shine light on the things that diminish our beauty, the things that take away our joy, the things that cause us to have less understandings of each other. And he tried to create spaces where we could be soft, where we could have conversations, where we could feel like we're not alone and we're being heard. And it's a contribution that far exceeds his voice. It far exceeds his performances on stage. when I think of Jonghyun, I'll not only think about somebody with a multi-octave voice, I'll not only think of somebody who was as handsome as anyone could ever want to be, but I'll think of somebody who stood up for the rights of trans people, LGBT people, who stood up for women's rights, who talked about mental health issues in a society when that wasn't really the most comfortable talk to have, who in the midst of his own personal struggles gave and gave and gave and gave and gave until the well ran dry. And 10 years of doing that, 10 years of trying to be the absolute best person he can be, and at the end of it all, it was a job well done. He did his absolute best, and we are extremely proud of him. We are extremely proud of him. We're extremely proud of him. And I wish that it didn't take his passing for the world to know how beautiful he was and how much he gave to a place that really didn't see his contribution. These 5 men have given us so much. They really, really have. They've given us laughs. They've given us song, dance, comedy, and they've shared their brotherhood with us. And I am so blessed to be a part of a fandom that got to know them so well. I'm so happy that they made 10 years. I'm so excited for what their future is. I am elated with the idea that the world got to have this out there, that there'll be future people who either haven't come across it or have yet to be born, but they'll have the opportunity to hear their music, to see their videos, to watch their variety, and to have this be a source of comfort and joy and love for them in the intervening years to come. We don't know what the future is, but what you can't do is you can't take away the past. And the past 10 years have been absolutely lovely. And I thank SHINee from the bottom of my heart for giving me a fandom that I'm proud of, for giving me friendships that have brought me through my life in a way that I never thought a friendship could, for giving me a community where I feel loved, accepted, that I feel understood, and for doing all that with grace, with class, with selflessness, with love. And most of all, I hope that the next 10 years sees nothing but positivity and honor for these individuals. I'll spend the next 10 years making sure that happens if it's in my power at all. And I'm going to buy the hell out of their comeback. I've already bought 2 copies of the first album. I will be buying subsequent copies of all the additional releases, but I'm going to continue to support, and I encourage you all to do the same, because if anybody's earned it, these 5 men have earned it. They have earned it. So we are an hour in to the live, and because I haven't really given you guys a chance to talk in my last few live videos, I'm going to ask some questions. I have a buddy of mine. Her name is Disney Bar on YouTube. She did the ultimate bias tag, and I'm going to answer the questions, but I'm going to ask you guys to answer the questions. Now, this is the ultimate bias tag, and if SHINee's not your bias, then this may be difficult for you, but let's just all pretend like we're on the same page here. So question number 1, who is your ultimate K-pop bias? Name some qualities you admire about him. I've already done that, honestly. I just named several qualities I admire about my K-pop biases, but as you know, Minho is my main bias in SHINee. But for you guys, who is your ultimate K-pop bias? And maybe more specifically, since I don't kind of want to make the conversation go everywhere, who is your bias in SHINee? Who is your bias in SHINee? My bias in SHINee is Minho, not just because of his looks, but because of other qualities that I've already mentioned. But who's your bias? I'll see in the stream if anybody wants to answer. Next, list your bias ruiner. Okay, so Jonghyun is my bias ruiner. He's been my bias ruiner for a long time with SHINee. It was the voice, to be honest. It was the voice. I remember distinctly there was a period of time when Jonghyun was almost my bias. Okay, Alex, I see. I got you. Good response. When I first started paying extremely close attention to SHINee, Jonghyun was my OTP. And because Jonghyun was my OTP, I kind of veered towards Jonghyun, and it didn't hurt that he had this incredible voice. But then after Hello Baby, I was kind of like, yeah, it's Minho all the way. It's Minho all the way, and my OTP became Minky. But yeah, Jonghyun definitely was my bias ruiner for sure. Kind of second place bias ruiner though has been Taemin, but not in like a I'm physically attracted way, more like a it's hard for me to take my eyes off you when you're on the stage because you are magnetic kind of thing. So it's definitely not a physical attraction. It is more of a like I just absolutely can't stop looking at you because you are something to look at. All right, next, number 3. If you were stuck on an elevator with your ultimate bias, what would you do? If I was stuck on an elevator with SHINee, specifically Minho, I would freak the fuck out. I wouldn't freak the fuck out because it's SHINee. I would freak the fuck out because I'm claustrophobic. So being stuck on an elevator with anybody wouldn't really matter to me because I would be hyperventilating because I am extremely claustrophobic because we're stuck in an elevator. Thank you, Alex. Someone understands. So yeah, it really wouldn't matter if it was SHINee, if it was Rain. It could be anybody. We're stuck in an elevator, and depending on what floor we're on, if this elevator lets loose, we're all going to die in this death drop. I don't want to be involved. So there you go. Number 4. What would you ask your ultimate bias if you ever got the chance to meet? Freeze like a deer in headlights. That's me. If my ultimate bias and I were to ever get the chance to meet, and it wasn't like one of those high touch events where I'm like herded by cattle and we just slap hands and keep moving, it was like actually a sit and talk type of thing. If I could get past my disbelief and my tears and my shaking and me not being able to vocalize because my throat has hitched up and I can't make sound, once I have a clear head, which might be hours later, and by then they've already left the venue, I would want to ask them, what could I do to be a better fan for you? If I could ask how to be a better fan, that would be really important for me. Or to ask, what is it that fans could do to support you the best, or that they should understand about your life in order for them to treat you better? Because there are a lot of things we don't have control over. We don't have control over how the label treats idols. We don't have control over when they're going to have a comeback, what the comeback's going to be about, who's going to write the songs, who's going to do the styling. All those things, they're out of our control. But one thing we can do moving on in the future is work as hard as we can to protect the mental health and wellness of our idols. And so I would genuinely ask, what is it I can do as a fan to make your life easier in order to make you feel supported? And that's what I would want to know. That would be the most important question, because it would be some knowledge I would definitely share with others, but I think more than anything, it would help me understand them better, because a lot of times we look at our idols for what they can give us, but what can we give them? I mean, obviously besides our money, what can we give them? So that would be what I would ask. Number 5, spend the day with your bias. What would you do? If I could spend a day with my bias group or single member. I would want to spend a day doing the most normal stuff on earth. Like, honestly, I wouldn't want to do like some really crazy stuff like go skydiving or some really corny stuff like having a romantic dinner. Like, I would want to get up in the morning and I would want to take them to some hole in the wall breakfast spot that has really good green chili, and we would have like omelets, or we would have huevos rancheros, and we would talk about food because food is my favorite. And after that, I'd be like, hey, are there any movies that you wanted to see? Because, you know, I'm sure you don't get a chance to just sit and watch a whole movie. If not, do you want to Netflix and chill? Like, not like sex, but just, you know, actually literally watch Netflix and lays out on the couch or the lazy boy or whatever. And it would be literally just, how can we relax together? I would just want to relax with SHINee because I don't think it's something that they get to do. But then again, a lot of people who are in that line of work, that's not necessarily how they relax. It may be something else. So maybe I would want to spend the day doing whatever it is they want to do. Because I want them to have an opportunity to have a day where we just do what you want to do. Or better yet, if it's at all a possibility, I would want to spend a day letting my idol meet somebody who's their idol and just sit and observe their interaction together. But yeah, like, I don't want to snog them or, you know, take a bunch of photos with them or anything like that. Like, I literally just want to have maybe a couple of really cool conversations, do some really normal stuff, and let them have a day where they remember it happily. Like a day where we're all together and they're like, wow, that was a really fun day. I'll remember that day for a long time because it's been a while since I've got to do something just real chill like that. And so that's the day I'd want to have. Number 6, if you could put together a music video treatment for your bias, what would you put together for them? So I guess it's designing an MV, right? If I could design a music video concept, sound, whatever, for my bias group, it definitely wouldn't be a ballad because I am not the biggest ballad person. But probably what I would do is I would ask them, is there a song from one of your albums that never got a music video that you wished had a music video? And from there, I would try to work out a concept that most mirrored the lyrics of the song. And if I could do something that most mirrored the lyrics of the song, it would actually be a chance for the members of SHINee to do like some really good acting. That would be ideal. Like, one of the things I really appreciated about Tell Me What to Do is I felt like we got a lot more of the acting chops of SHINee in that particular video. So, hey, Lupe! So that's what I would want to do. I'd want to give them a chance to do the video they've always wanted to do, and I would want to give them some real opportunities to do some dramatic acting that, again, goes along with the storyline of the lyrics. So yeah, that would be the music video treatment I would do for them. Next, what if there was no K-pop? Okay, so I had to think really hard about this question. If there was no K-pop, or if I just was unlucky enough to have never heard of K-pop until Psy's Gangnam Style, and even then it was just a novelty thing that I never paid attention to until BTS came along, and even then it was a novelty. If there was no K-pop, I would probably be really into makeup right now, because I really, really liked makeup for a long time, and I would be really into makeup. I'd probably be a lot more into American R&B. I kind of let a lot of that go. The music I used to listen to before I got into K-pop, I was really deep into American R&B, neo soul, and I was really into like French dance music. Don't ask, I have no idea. But like, I was really into like EDM, drum and bass, a lot of that kind of music. So probably would still be into that. But yeah, makeup would probably be where I would be spending most of my money, because there was a period in time there where I had to choose between like K-pop or makeup, and makeup's hard. K-pop is not. So So that's where I would be. Um, Future hopes for K-pop. So it's on the bias tag, but it's not bias specific. Future hopes for K-pop. Definitely future hopes for K-pop. I would like to see some of the fan war shit go away. I mean, there's always been fan wars. You know, Girls' Generation had the Black Ocean, so I mean, it's a long standing thing for sure. But I would like to see less of the vitriol and more of a sense of togetherness and community, because even though BTS gets used for retweets and likes, our community, the people who are really in it for all of the music, is very small. And so it would be nice if we were to be able to get together and be supportive of our other groups, of the achievements that each group makes. If we would, as fans, kind of just big up everybody, that would be lovely. That would be lovely, because an achievement for one is an achievement for all. This whole crabs in the barrel mentality, that's got to go away. Another thing I'd like for the future of K-pop, I would like K-pop to figure out what its identity is again. There was a time when I really felt like K-pop had the instrumental, something about it that identified it as a K-pop song without all of the other kind of links to the Western world that we now have. And I feel like now K-pop is split into two camps. There's boy K-pop, which very much tries to stick to whatever the trend in Western music is. And then we have girl K-pop, which is either super cutesy, kind of old-fashioned K-pop sounds we've been hearing for the last 10 years, or it is this girl crush sound, which is still maybe about 5 years dated. If K-pop is going to move with Western trends, I still need K-pop to figure out what its core sound is, because that's a possibility. That's something that can be established, because J-pop figured it out. I'm not the biggest fan of J-pop, but J-pop sells like gangbusters, and it is one of the most easily transmitted of the Asian-based sounds. And it's got just something about it, besides the language, that's very distinctive to J-pop. And I need Korea to decide what K-pop is and build on that. I don't know how to do that, because if I did, I'd be rich. But I would like them to figure out like what K-pop is and move in that direction, instead of constantly trying to ape Western trends a year or two too late. One of you commented about the corruption in the industry. Absolutely, I would like to see the corruption in the industry end. I would like a lot of the sexism to end, a lot of the kind of good old boy system to end. I would like idols to feel like their humanity is valued. If you are being assaulted by your peers, if you're being discriminated by your peers, if you're being, harassed by your peers, I don't think the obligation to save face and not cause a scandal for the company should be used as an excuse anymore. Because at the end of the day, when you operate in that mode, you put the blame on the victim. And they're not in the wrong. If a young girl goes to have drinks with her coworker in a public place and he hits on her and she says, "No, I'm not interested," that doesn't give him the right to call her names, to assault her, to do anything other than to respect that a no is a no. They shouldn't be subjected to television appearances where they're poked and prodded and asked bad questions and always being expected to keep on smiling when really they're being wildly disrespected. They should be allowed to call out that they are being disrespected. I think idols should have safe working conditions. I don't think that they should have to film for 24 hours straight. I think that there should be real catering on set for them. I think that the production crews that run music videos and drama sets should be well trained, They should be well compensated, and they shouldn't be asked to do things that compromise their safety or the safety of other people on set. I think that humanity needs to be involved in all of this and treating others the way that you would expect to be treated, and not foisting unrealistic expectations on people because you see them as products rather than people. Um, Along with that, I also will say that the survival show thing, I'm not opposed to survival shows, because I think what the survival shows do in a way is that they allow people to get to know idols for more than the songs. Like, they get to kind of get a little bit of personality. But the problem with the survival shows is that even though they're reality based, the editing is scripted. And so we don't really get to know idols, or we only get to know the parts that the editors have deemed worthy of show. So I would like to see more kind of documentaries about groups. Not the kind of please protect my fridge type stuff, but more of the, this is what it's like to record our album. This is what it's like to collaborate with people who don't speak Korean. This is what it's like to, decide what the concept is going to be. This is what it's like to prepare our concert. There's plenty of like backstage extras on DVDs, and there's a lot of backstage stuff on YouTube and things like that. But I think, kind of like how BTS has burned the stage, I think it'd be nice to have something like that for all of the groups, to really get to know them, and not only know the cutest, most awesome things about them, but really like know kind of where they're struggling and how they address that. That way we can see all the parts of their humanity. I think that that's really important, and it's something that we don't do enough of. And then I think vacations. Mental health and wellness evaluations. I definitely think that if you are going to call them idols, you should treat them royally, and making them work excessive hours, making them work through illnesses and physical impairments, and having virtually no time between comebacks, or making them do outrageous things in order to promote an album. I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's right. I think that when people debut these absolutely insane concepts, we should turn our backs on them completely. And when I say something like that, I mean like a six bomb who got plastic surgery to promote a comeback. That's nothing that I think that we should endorse. And I'm not saying because plastic surgery is bad. I'm saying because a person shouldn't have to cut open their body to promote a song. That is beyond the realm of acceptable. You shouldn't have to flash your butt. You shouldn't have to lift your shirt. You shouldn't have to do all of these things that compromise your person in order to promote. Now, hurting anybody, but if they're asking you to shake your ass, if they're asking you to hump the floor, if they're asking you to be shirtless and pouring down rain, unless that's something that you want to do, you shouldn't be forced to do it. And there's always going to be the idols that are comfortable with that. A J Park, a Hyuna, they're always going to be comfortable giving you the sexy. That's their brand. But if that's not the individual's brand, they shouldn't have to do that. So I would like to see a little bit more consideration being given to those who don't want to be in that light, who aren't prepared to be in that light, especially the really young idols. Personally, I don't think anybody under the age of legal age, I guess, should be encouraged to flash abs, flash butt, grind, gyrate, those kind of things. we should never encourage the sexualization of children. And so I'll always feel like that's where our lines need to be drawn. Um, but when they're adults, if sexy is a concept they want to explore, they shouldn't be shamed for it either. And I say that because a lot of our female idols get shamed for being comfortable with their sexuality. So just like I don't think that we should feel like, well, it's okay for a boy to flash because he's a boy and there's nothing wrong with them showing their abs. If they don't want to show their abs, don't make them. If they don't want to body roll, don't make them. But with our women, if they want to be sexy, if they want to gyrate and body roll and twerk, if that's the conclusion that they came to and it's not what their company is forcing them to do, listen to me, Stellar, then you need to allow them to be what they're comfortable with being. Again, that doesn't mean they're not allowed to record crappy songs. It just means people shouldn't have their bodies used as pieces of meat, because they're not pieces of meat. They've got souls, and that's something that needs to be respected. So those are the changes I'd like to see in the future of K-pop. And then, just like some personal goals that it's probably going to take years for it to happen, but I would like to see more acceptance of LGBT performers. That'd be awesome. I don't think that it's fair that Holland's concept is the fact that he's gay. I don't think it's fair because I don't think that sexuality should be considered a gimmick. And also because on the one hand, if I choose not to support him, it's not because I'm against LGBTQ, it's because I don't particularly like his singing voice. But it's like they make it to where in order to support the concept of a gay idol, I have to support somebody who maybe has a subpar performance standard. And it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But those who are comfortable in their sexuality and when they're ready to express it, I think that they should have a place in this idol world because their audience is this spectrum and they should be able to see themselves reflected in the people that they admire. It shouldn't have to be coded. It shouldn't have to be couched. It shouldn't have to be one of those things where it's, don't ask, don't tell. People should be comfortable being who they are. And if you don't want to come out, you don't have to come out. But when you're ready and you want to, you should be allowed to with no shame and no discrimination. And you should know that you'll still have an audience there for you. And that's why I say it's going to be a long time before that happens, because while society, I believe on the whole, is getting more accepting, there's still a lot of people who have backwards thought patterns when it comes to that, and they're ready to shun somebody for living in their own truth. And financially, I don't think that the record companies are willing to take that risk just yet. But when the day comes, when they could see that it's not a risk, but it's actually a reward, then we'll see it more. And I hope that day comes sooner than later. I hope that by the time my grandchildren are out there listening to music and enjoying the world, they'll be able to see themselves in the media they're consuming. I hope that you all can see yourselves in the media you're consuming. Along with more acceptance for LGBT performers, I would like to see fair treatment for biracial and multiracial K-pop performers, non-Korean K-pop performers. I think that Chinese members of K-pop groups should be treated better. I think that biracial performers should be treated better and not the novelty be the fact that they have one parent who's not Korean. And I think that if they're talented enough to make it into a group and they can sing and they can dance, I think it's wrong for us to fetishize their looks and be like, oh, look at their big Western eyes. Oh, look at their beautiful white Western skin. Instead, be like, wow, she's really killing that song. Or man, he's dancing his ass off. That should be the concentration. So those are the things I want for the future of K-pop. And it's a future that I think SHINee is going to be instrumental in building, because at this point in their career, they probably give no fucks. They probably are operating in truth, and they're not here for the play. And I think we're going to hear a lot of honesty from them moving forward. And I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. You know, at the point they are in their career, I don't think they have time for this young people stuff. I don't think they have time for the falseness and the facades. I think they only have time for what's real, and I'm here for it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. All right, so that is the end of my live stream. Thank you all for joining me for an hour and a half. It's been a lot, and I am going to cringe watching this back, if I watch this back anytime soon. But yeah, my love for SHINee, it is long lasting. It has brought me so close to you guys, and I thank you for sharing this time with me. Only for SHINee. Only for SHINee. I hope you have a great evening, and I hope that you find ways in your own life to celebrate this 10-year anniversary, because this is for them, this is for us, this is for the future, and this is for the past. We love you dearly. So thank you, SHINee. Thank you for 10 years, and I hope we can have as many more as you're willing to give us. All that you're willing to give us. I cannot wait for the 28th. It's going to be amazing. All right, guys, you take care. Bye.